this is a paper tearing demo. So we know with our first assignment that we want our paper to be 10 inches by 11 inches. The reason is because the standard size of printmaking paper is 22 by 30 inches. And so with a 10 by 11 inch, we're getting exactly 6 prints from one large sheet of paper. One cut down the middle and then 2 cuts on the shorter side. So this is a paper tearing station, and there is a grid on the table, and these are tear bars, okay? Not the same thing as a ruler, just for this purpose. So the reason that we tear paper instead of cut it is because paper is made by pressing pulp, and the pulp is a piece of fiber that has a specific size or staple. And you can see that these like beautiful deckled edges are happening at the edge of the paper, and this is from the frame of the paper being pressed. So what happens if we would take an X-Acto knife or a scissors and you had a beautiful deckled edge on one side and a cut edge on the other? It would just look wrong. So we want to try to recreate that deckled edge as best as possible by tearing. It also helps with the integrity of the paper so that those individual fibers aren't being cut or made smaller, but the tear is going to tear kind of around those fibers, and you're gonna withhold the structure and the stability of your sheet of paper. So there's lots of wonderful things that we can talk about with paper, but for now we're going to get straight to cutting. So I'm going to go ahead and position my paper on my grid, and I am actually going to make sure that I'm exactly at 30 and 22, and I'm not including the deckled edge on the top and bottom, and that's outside of the 22-inch range. So the very first cut that I'm going to be making is I'm going to make 2 cuts at 10 inches and then 20 inches so that I can, and then I'll make the rest of the cuts the other way. So I'm going to line my panel or my bar up to 20 inches first. And I'm going to make sure that it's straight, so it's lined up at the top and it's lined up at the bottom at 20 inches. I'm going to hold down very hard, harder than you think you need to. You do not want the tear bar to move because that will change the shape and size of your paper. So I'm going to hold down as hard as I can with my left hand. I'm going to take my right hand and pull towards myself, and that is all there is to it. Okay, so I have 1 done. Now, without my paper moving at all, if it's moved, I can readjust. I'm going to go to the 10-inch mark. Now I'm just going right to left because I'm tearing with my right hand. So this is actually set up for right-handed tearing. I'm left-handed, so I feel your pain if you're left-handed. We're living in a right-handed world. Okay, you have to become ambidextrous in the arts. All right, so I have my 3 papers going tall ways, and now I'm gonna cut them down long ways at 11 inches. So I'm gonna go ahead and resize, finding that 22 inches going this way, 11 inches cuts it straight down the middle, making sure that I'm lining my tear bar up straight exactly with the grid, holding down and tearing this way. Okay, so you guys, I think, are doing an addition of 8 for your very first screen print project. For those of you in other classes, your addition size is based on your assignment. And I'll go ahead, and so that's as many pieces that you need to tear. Of course, we're always tearing more paper than we need for an addition size. So if our addition size is 8, I'm gonna go ahead and tear 12 sheets of paper because you want to allow for, of course, some wiggle room. So there's a lot of really cool things that we could say about paper, and I'll try to keep this demo short. But what I will say is if you are in a professional print shop making a professional edition and your print size is smaller than that 22 inches by 30 inches of your paper, you're going to tear the same section of however many sheets of paper. So if your edition is 20, you're going to tear the same bottom left corner of all 20 sheets, because we, in professional printmaking, want to make sure that every single print is exactly the same, and it really starts with your paper. So take a lot of care at this stage to make sure that you are precise and that your paper is starting the same size, even though we're using the whole sheet of paper, because that is a good thing to do for us. We just want to make sure to be precise so that our prints are as similar as possible throughout our edition.